Welcome back. An initial draft of the Fayetteville Street University Land Use Update is now complete. The update covers an area along Fayetteville Street, south of the Durham Freeway, and the campus of North Carolina Central University.
The Fayetteville Street University Land Use Update is a project that's called for in the Durham Comprehensive Plan, which was adopted by City Council in 2005. It states that we should take a fine-grained look at land use policies and zoning designations in the area around North Carolina Central and particularly the Fayetteville Street corridor.
The update focuses on making sure that current zoning and land use regulations match the goals of the historic Fayetteville Street Preservation Plan, which was adopted by the City Council in 2001.
And that plan calls for the preservation of the historic buildings and character along Fayetteville Street from about Stanford Warren Library to the southern end of the North Carolina Central University campus. However, we have many land use policies and zoning designations adopted prior to the Historic Preservation Plan, which are not in line with the goals of the Historic Preservation Plan. Therefore, what we are doing is looking at those policies and zoning designations and make sure that they support the goals of the Fayetteville Street Historic Preservation Plan.
In addition, the update is also re-examining the zoning designation for the NC Central campus itself,
to make sure that it is appropriate and meets the goals of the university while also protecting the character of the surrounding neighborhoods. Finally, there's the North Carolina College Redevelopment Plan, which was adopted by City Council in 1964. However, it is no longer applicable and its standards no longer are in line with current practices. Therefore, through this process, we are investigating ways of removing the North Carolina College Redevelopment Plan.
The draft update is available on the Planning Department's homepage on the city's website. Comments on the update will be accepted over the next couple of weeks. It is important to note that the land use update deals with regulations and policies only and is not a program where the city is trying to buy land or obtain land in any way. The Parks and Recreation Department is proposing some changes to the city's park system. The goal of a recent review by the department was to identify ways to reduce park operation cost while still improving customer services. As part of the process, the city looked at the possibility of repurposing underutilized parks, potentially reducing routine landscaping maintenance in some sites, and examining how a community is or is not using a particular park. Based on a focus on 14 parks, the plans for what to do with underutilized facilities includes a wide range of solutions based on the specific site.
No effort to remove the HUD or the LWCF encumbrances. We figured out it would take, given the staff time and the title search and the survey and the environmental assessment reports and the planning that would have to be done, it would take 4 to 5 years before you'd start seeing any return on your investment from a reduction in maintenance costs. So it's really not worth it because the parks do serve as amenities to the neighborhoods in whatever function they're serving. To work to see if we can find some management partnerships to reduce costs in Unity Village and Carroll Street. I know the Parks Recreation Department at North Carolina Central, for instance, has said they might be interested in working with us at Unity Village. They kind of want a practicum for some of their parks recreation folks. And I know there's some churches in the neighborhood and the homeowners association there. So we might be able to find some management partners. And I said with Carroll Street, that neighborhood is coming alive because of self-help and the Community Land Trust. And if they can put us in touch with some good partners in the neighborhood, maybe the Southwest Durham Initiative, I think we can make that park fit the neighborhood better. For several parks, we're saying remove the playground equipment and keep the park for more passive uses, picnic, walking, just a green space for the neighborhood. And these are ones where the playground equipment is not being used or the neighborhood demographics have changed and there's more older people in the neighborhood. For White Oak, we're suggesting that we remove the playground equipment and retrofit it with some kind of a stormwater BMP, but still make it accessible for the public to get into a beautiful natural area.
Under the proposal, no action will be taken at this point on Oakwood, Sandy Creek, and Rockwood parks, but a variety of improvements are recommended to be made to several of the other parks.
I think Rocky Creek and Lakeview have the real potential to be more interesting, active parks if they had some improvements made to them. and then lease to urban agriculture organizations. Birchwood and Red Maple are other parts of sites.
The Parks and Recreation Department says it wants to update its master plan in the next couple of years and will be holding community meetings on the parks as part of that process. New technology offers a potentially life-saving tool for Durham's Emergency Communications Center. Find out what it is and why the whole state will benefit as well when City Hall This Week continues.
Traction control, front and rear crumple zones, anti-lock braking system. For all the modern safety features an automobile has, a motorcycle has none of them. In North Carolina, there were 3,500 motorcycle crashes last year, killing 151 riders. Remember, in order for your helmet to do its job, you need to do yours first. Make sure it's a compliant helmet. For more information regarding training in your area, visit bikesafenc.com.
Tom.
Oh, good morning, Mike.
Try data, can do it a little easier.
Welcome back. All 100 of North Carolina's counties are about to receive new statewide aerial imagery, thanks to the efforts of Durham's Emergency Communications Center. The center, on behalf of its 911 counterparts across the state, applied for and received a $12 million grant from the North Carolina 911 Board to update statewide aerial imagery.
The imagery allows us to locate people who may be calling us from wireless devices. Less and less people are using their home phones or landlines, and as people are being mobile, they often don't know what's near them or where they actually are. Because those boundaries are no longer there the way it is with a specific 911 call from a landline, you have to have something to look at to help you locate people. Having the imagery allows you, instead of just using a map with streets on it, to use visual cues that people can see to help you interact and help you find them better.
The investment in new imagery was needed because the 911 centers were working from images from different years with different sharpness and different means of public access.
The update was needed because not all counties are able to purchase the data at the same time. This particular project allowed us to have everybody at a single baseline, so that as you're taking calls and people may not know where they are and you're crossing jurisdictional boundaries, you have good data to be able to help them find themselves through visual cues. Where a picture on a map may just show a street or a line, now you have something that you can use for landmarks to help people help you in finding them.
The new imagery will have other benefits as well for the city and the public overall.
The new imagery in Durham will be available to any citizen that wants to use it. It's through Go Maps, and it is maintained by our GIS department. Durham has a GIS department that is second to none. They have all kinds of resources on there that are great to use. Most people and even departments within the city don't realize what a great tool it is. So this is going to give people access not only for departments within the city and for 911, but any person that wants to go and look at it for free.
Since the Durham Emergency Communications Center applied for the grant, it received the first county delivery of the aerial imagery in February. Delivery to the other counties will continue through the end of June. While it may be too early for many of Durham's young people to be deciding on their career, it's not too early for them to be thinking about spring break. And what they do with their time off from school may just be the first step toward a future career as a Durham firefighter. To that end, the Fire Department, Parks and Recreation Department, and the Office of the State Fire Marshal are hosting the 7th Annual Junior Fire Marshal Program. It's free of charge and will be held from April 18th through the 21st. The event offers youth ages 11 to 15 the chance to combine fire safety training with career exploration opportunities. A limited number of spots are still available, and the deadline to apply for this year's program is Wednesday, April 6th. Anyone interested can apply online or download a hard copy of the application from the Fire Department's homepage on the city's website. The city is providing a new service to its Spanish-speaking residents. Spanish language educational programming is now available daily on DTV8, the city's government television channel on Time Warner Cable Channel 8. The programming is offered nightly from 8:30 until 9 p.m. Viewers can watch a variety of consumer protection programs ranging in topics from mortgage help to keeping children safe online. The programming, which is also available to watch on demand on the city's website, is being provided free of charge by the Federal Trade Commission. The city's efforts to help integrate Hispanics into the community are being recognized by the National League of Cities. The organization is honoring Durham as one of the top 20 U.S. cities whose practices should be emulated. The mayor's Hispanic Latino initiative is specifically being singled out. It helps to create partnerships to ensure that everyone living in Durham has access to the full range of city services. Making the work of local artists accessible to as many people as possible is another high priority for city leaders. Find out what they're doing to make that happen when City Hall This Week continues.
Take my hand and start a brand new day, and together as one we'll start to see some change.
Underneath everything we are, underneath everything we do, we are all people, connected, interdependent, united. And when we reach out a hand to one, we can influence the condition of all. That's what it means to live united.
There's a place, not so far away, a place where you don't have to keep the volume down. You'll find all sorts of creatures in this place without have to. The silly you, the proud you. You may even meet the curious you.
It's tickling me! You!
Ask your parents to take you to this not so far away place. Come to the forest, where the other you lives. But first, stop by discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back. You'll want to mark your calendars now because April and Durham's Art Walk Spring Market are just around the corner. The twice-a-year event showcases the work of over 200 artists at sites throughout downtown Durham. This spring's event will be held on Saturday, April 9th from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. and on Sunday, April 10th from 1 p.m. until 5 p.m. The event is presented by the Durham Arts Council and is free and open to the public. For more evidence of how important the local art scene is to Durham, all you have to do is look to the walls of City Hall. For years, the building has featured artwork from people in the community, in the lobby, the legal office, the hallways, and even in the mayor's office.
I think just having art anywhere adds to the aesthetics of an office or a building, where have you. And when you have an opportunity to display art by local artists, I think it just has much more meaning, especially in a public facilities such as City Hall and certainly in the mayor's office.
Maribel says that offering local artists a chance to showcase their work in a public venue serves as a reflection of Durham's place in the world of art.
I think that Durham is being known as a creative city, a city of the arts, certainly DPAC, Carolina Theater, and all the other venues that we have here just lends to the name of what Durham is all about. And when we have an artistic community such as we have, I think anytime we have an opportunity to allow those artists to display their work, it's helpful to them and it's certainly helpful to the city.
In recent months, the work of Councilman Eugene Brown has filled the walls outside of the second floor committee room. Brown is an avid photographer who has traveled the world. His work ranges from scenes in Durham to Russia, Colombia, to the world of politics.
Many of the photographs here, I think there are 22, and they reflect the travels of my wife and I throughout the world, really. This was taken in Tokyo. It's a koi fish pond, and the koi are really prized there in Japan. Most people will recognize the dancer here. I thought that was a good shot. That was taken in front of Howard Clement's house for July 4th. Festivities.
Brown says the walls were previously bare, and he felt that City Hall would be an ideal place to share his art and experiences with visitors and employees.
These buildings belong to the people, to the citizens of Durham. And we must not and should not have walls that are blank and buildings that are sterile and vacuous, because our city buildings should reflect the diversity and excitement of our people.
For more information about the artwork currently on display in City Hall, call 560-1200. That does it for this edition of City Hall This Week. Be sure and visit DTV8 on Facebook and Twitter to find out how you can tune into this show, city life, and all the city's programming. You can also find us on demand on the city's website at durhamnc.gov/DTV8. I'm Amy Blaylock. Thank you for joining us for City Hall This Week.